call this evening's meeting to order. Roll call, please. Or should I say first that it is our regular city council meeting for the city of Algonak. It's Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Dundas.
Here.
Councilman Blair.
Here.
Councilman Gillis.
Here.
Councilman Harris.
Councilwoman
Harris. Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Scarlett.
Here.
Mayor Stoneberger.
Here.
Thank you, all present.
At this time, if everyone would please take a moment of silent prayer. Will everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved. Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we have an agenda. This evening, we have two presentations, and the first one up is our Elvenar Asset Award. We are honoring Mary Gillis, and we have Councilman Rocky Gillis, and yes, they're related, to do the honors. And after that, then Mary's going to do a nice presentation for us. Rocky?
Mary, would you please step up? Councilman Blair, please, thank you for switching with me. All right. Order.
You own it.
It's okay. So first, I'd like to say how proud I am that my wife was received Teacher of the Year for the Algonak School District this year. She's been teaching in Algonak for 3 years now, and it was great on her family when she decided to come to Algonak to teach, because the 2-hour commutes that she was doing every single day to back and forth to Fraser, once we had our child, it just wasn't working. So then she was able to come here, and I'm proud to say that she's part of our community, and I think she's done very well. At least somebody else thinks she does very well, because she got the Teacher of the Year award, and she was nominated for an Algonak Asset. So, with that being said, Algonak Asset Award. The City of Algonak presents this award to Mary Gillis. It is with great pride that we acknowledge your outstanding leadership and commitment to education, which earned you the 2021 Teacher of the Year at the Algonak Community Schools. It is a well-deserved honor. We are grateful for your dedication, for the betterment of all the children through the core communication boards, and for teaching and mentoring children of Algonak and the surrounding communities. Thank you for all you've done for the City of Algonak. We're proud to call your honor. Signed by Mayor Terry Stoneberger. Everyone come up here.
There you go. There.
Thank you.
Does it look like a
It does. Good job, Mary.
At this time, I would like to say thank you, Mary. I've had the privilege to be in her classroom a few times and watch her do her magic, and it's magic. All the teachers there, they're just phenomenal, and Mary really stands out at what she does and she knows what she's doing. And if she doesn't, she figures it out and makes it better. At this time now, we're going to turn the meeting over to Mary. She's going to do a presentation on the core communication boards. Mary, as you know, is a resident and teacher in Algonak schools. And she started using core vocabulary this past year after attending training through Macomb Intermediate School District along with colleagues Jennifer Humes and Karen Schmidt. They are considered to be a pilot team by the Regional Education Service Agency, which we call RESA, of St. Clair County, for school districts in St. Clair County due to the high number of children in the community who are neurodiverse and must have access to alternative forms of communication to get their needs and wants met. The Core Vocabulary Board has allowed students to be able to play more inclusively together on a daily basis and have been a great benefit to neurotypical children who may be too shy to speak, to ask someone to come play with them, or even as a visual tool to help students in crisis to express their feelings when words fail them. Mary, it's all yours.
So, Mayor Sternberg and the City Council members, thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening today. I didn't realize this was going to be my passion project until Jennifer Humes and Karen Schmidt and I took the training, and we each had a student that we selected that we wanted to pilot the communication boards with, and both she and I saw amazing growth and connectivity in their communication skills for the course of the school year that have translated into all areas of life, home and school. And I just knew in my heart, I'm like, you know what, I'm a lucky enough person, I get to work in the district that I live in, and my husband works with the city, that we can broaden our horizons and bring this more globally to our community. One quote I want to give you, I've been following a lot of different blogs from autistic adults, and one of the ones that I really am passionate about, it's Autistic AAC Underground blog. And she says, if you want to improve the lives of autistics, we need to make the world more communication accessible. So, hence my first slide. Basically, if you don't have communication, you're invisible, right? You can't make a connection. It's like being somewhere between alive and dead. That's not a good feeling, right? So it's essential to being part of being the human race, being a human being. So the beauty of the core boards is that it gives everyone something. They don't need a special training like we took, honestly, you really don't, because the visual is so dynamic that young children, toddlers, can connect with it. Adults who may have had strokes and have verbal issues there, they can utilize it. So looking at this is an example of one in the classroom. So they use symbols or pictures to facilitate communication with children that have maybe a limited expressive language ability. So maybe they are your non-speakers, but they may have some vocalizations, or they may be verbal and speaking, but maybe it's not effective communication. This can open up the gateway that gives a visual that's right there that they can use. So why we use the core communication board? Basically exposing the children to language symbols during natural communication helps them actually foster better vocabulary communication and communication development in life. So some people think, oh, if I get this visual, then they're not going to learn to speak better, but they actually do more because now they've got the support in place. So more often they can use the symbols and words then throughout their day. So an example like that I use in my classroom, Jennifer uses in hers, we call them put-in tasks. And on the visual core board, you can see the words put in, so it's as simple as that. You can give them little blocks to put in a container, and they can follow that direction. So think of these words like you'd use them with toddlers and their typical language development, and you can do it across any setting. So like if you're at the restaurant, if you're at home, in school, and they're made up of frequently used words like your verbs, your descriptors, prepositions, pronouns, and basically you can use them in any communicative function. So anywhere you need to be, you need to help your child communicate, this is it. This example here, Karen Schmidt actually designed this in a program called Boardmaker. So the visuals that are used here, Boardmaker's been around a really long time, especially my whole 20-year career. So they're really universal, globally known. You can see some more stick figures, but it follows that concept. You have your pronouns, you have your descriptors, verbs, and then at the bottom you see how it says run, jump, swing. That's something called fringe. So that's not part of the core vocabulary, but you would want those to be the helping words that you would use to talk with your child at the playground. These are the ones that are installed right now at Hillside and Algonquin. So the children are pretty familiar with that, and then a lot of teachers actually and our lunch supervisors have a small version that they wear. So even if they're not by the core board that's on the wall, a child can access it at any time. And some of our students that actually do need this as a necessity for communication wear them themselves too. So basically my project goal at this point, obviously, you've heard, we put them in Millside and Algonquin. I want them in our community, because our children are in our community, not just our school community. So, one of the ones I still need to have happen is at Millside. Our first grade playground is not designed the same way as our kindergarten playground or Algonquin, where we have walls on the building to put them on. So, I want them to be able to start with an exhibit style display you'd see at the zoo. But other ones would be Ira Township, Elvenar Lions Field, Clay Township, the Scout Tower that we're gonna be having remodeled soon, and then also the Columbia Street Playground. So this was a video, a good example of this. This is a nonverbal child who is interacting with a verbal child. And what would happen is, I'm trying to go back to the playground slide and I can actually point and show. Because the videos are not working, unfortunately, but open to the links didn't work. So if they're on the playground, they're gonna say, I want, and then an adult or the verbal person would say, to swing. And then that child would go off and they'd swing together. Or you could come and say, I like to jump, and they can jump together. So that's the basis of it, as simple as that. You could have two nonverbal people, but they understand the visuals pointing, and then they can go off and do that activity together. So that's the concept that you use with it. That's why I say once the kids learn the visuals, which they're way faster us than the adults do when we're learning it, it's beautiful. I mean, to see it on the playground is so cool. So this would be kind of a sample board we're talking about. This would be the one we're talking about for first grade playground at Hillside and then also at the parks. So it'd be mounted, really nice exhibit style, good weatherproof. And you can see this is an example once along our Algonak bike path to the state park. So the cost per board right now, completely installed, is $1,000. So how can everybody help? We need to donate funds. We need to make the funds to get each board taken care of. And basically, more importantly, share the project information with the community so that they can see that this is what we're accomplishing. We're trying to make our own city, our own community, more communication accessible for everyone. Because the beauty of these, and this is so important, is that yes, we have children in our community, probably even adults in our community, where this is a necessity, but having it in those spaces, it's for anybody, it's for everybody. And the more our children that are non-speaking children can see speaking children using the same thing that they need, the more inclusive our community becomes, and that's very important to me, and I know a lot of my colleagues that I work with. And I also want to say this is very important. This would not be possible if I hadn't gotten some of the legwork done, coordinated with our own local business, Scoreboard and More. They designed, along with the pattern that Karen Schmidt made, the ones for our playground, so they have the template. And then we found a company out of Pennsylvania, Panier Graphics, and they're doing the display, the exhibit style display. So it's kind of a collaboration between the two. So I'm excited that this could put us on the map for being a very inclusive community. So, and that's it. Thank you for your time.
Can I ask a question before you go back? So how much money total are you trying to raise?
For all those parks, $1,050. So what did I say? It was,
I think it was 6 or 7.
yes. Yep. So all those locations.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I know, being in the school, I always had the shower hook with all the cards on it. I never thought about transferring it that way.
You know what,
Never-
to be perfectly honest, we didn't either.
I didn't.
I never used it until we had the training this last year. We had no idea that this could change our students' lives, like all of our students' lives. Honestly, it's amazing.
It is.
Can I have one more thing? So we're doing that derby in November. If you guys want to take the profits of the 50-50 for this, you can.
Oh, thank you, that's amazing. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Have you guys raised any money yet?
We have been working a little bit with Algonak Alive, so we've been having that discussion with them. I put some other feelers out, so at this point there is no money raised, but I kind of made some connections that I'm hoping that we'll be able to maybe start with one board and then see if we can raise the money for the rest.
For sure.
Anyone else? Mary, this is wonderful. Good job.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time, and more importantly, I appreciate the opportunity to be in the community that wants to be open to including every citizen. I mean, there are great things happening and people are really thinking in outside the box ways. And I think that that's amazing, because you know, these children we're providing this for now will be the adults that maybe could sit here. And if our community creates this type of setting now when they're little, who knows what they can accomplish as citizens here as adults. So thank you for that.
Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, it is time for public comment. You will have 5 minutes to speak. Our city manager clerk will be our timekeeper. Remember to state your name and your address, please. So anyone that would like to address council may come up.
Council, I have comments in just under 5 minutes, but just to make sure. Okay, hi, I'm Jim Olson-Chanik, 909 Market, I also own the house at 905 Market. I've spoken to the council 2 weeks in a row, or 2 meetings in a row, and they beat me out doing, I was hoping that I wouldn't be here again, but there's been some activity that I wanted to bring to your attention. So I'll start by kind of summarizing my concern. My concern is, I've talked about the city needs to be better partners with individuals, and there's no better individual than your homeowner, okay? If we partner together, we can do a lot of things together, and I kind of gave you the mistakes model, okay? I also expressed that it's very difficult finding contractors right now, good contractors in particular. It's taken me over a year to get my driveway in, and the city slowed that down by getting involved in it. I expressed that, I'm not going to reiterate it. And I also had the same situation with the air conditioning units. I mentioned that I put over $100,000 in one house already, and I probably had 50 or 60,000 more to put into the other houses. So in saying that, I tried to get new air conditioning and furnace in both houses beginning at the end of last year. I kind of reached out to the contractor that wanted to do it again this year, beginning of this year. Time went on, they were just very, very busy. Finally, in August, I got a quote from them for both houses, and at the bottom of the quote, it stated the price, the services, and it said, this does not include the required permits, okay? So we all understood that there certainly are going to be permit fees, especially for electrical and for plumbing and those types of items. My comment to the board was to take a look at those permits and to only make permits necessary when they really are necessary. The driveway, for example, no one's had a permit in 35 years. This contractor that did my driveway said he's never had to have one, but now all of a sudden we do. And then the inspection fees, add up very fast. And so I mentioned how much I spend on the inspection fees. So when I look at the total projects that I'm going to have, I'm probably going to have $3,000 or $4,000 potentially of inspection fees and permit fees. Okay. So with that said, I said that look, this is a deterrent. Why would I want to continue doing these projects if that's going to be the case, right? So, but I already had agreed to the price and the quote on the furnaces and the AC. So I still didn't have a date. Last week I was in Massachusetts attending my uncle's reunion, very, very proud moment at Navy reunion. And I get a call after 4 o'clock on Tuesday that they now have an availability. Somebody canceled out, okay? So do you want me to do it on Wednesday? I said, sure. They get there Wednesday, and shortly after lunch, somebody comes, Lori Warner comes to the door and gives me a card, doesn't need a permit. They acknowledge that. Thursday, 2 police cars show up at my house. Okay, now I'm assuming, I don't know why they showed up, but I'm assuming it was to write a ticket. And they said we needed a permit. The irony is, they had filled out the permit. It was sitting in the city's inbox. So the police officers sat there, 2 police officers, 2 cop cars, by the way, not just one. This is the biggest event in Algonak, right? 2 cop cars sitting in there, and they sat there and waited until somebody finally checked the inbox and got back with them, and then they left. My wife says it's a good thing she wasn't there. She'd have been very upset. I can imagine if I had children in there. And from a police standpoint, that's 4 years of public safety commission. That's what's called a garbage call. Those types of calls can sometimes escalate. Commissioner, Councilman Blair, I think you were on the police for a while. You realize those are not calls that you want to send the police on, police. So what was the purpose of sending the police there? Was it to ticket me? Was it to ticket them? I have no idea. But I would like to know who called the police and why they were there and what was the purpose of that. But we're not gonna have this discussion anymore, because I'm ending it. I am not doing the repairs I talked about on the other houses. I talked to my wife, I said I'm not doing it. I will throw some paint on, I'll make it look pretty a little bit, but I'm not putting the new roof, I'm not putting the new siding, I'm not putting the new windows. If the roof leaks, I'm putting tar on it. So that's where we're at now, unless the city somehow gets together and decides how we want to address this. But the same manager did send me a note and said that for a building, the maintenance for inspection for a new house is $350. Why is it $350 for a new house? But if I do it piece by piece, it could be $4,000. All right, council, this is on your plate. I'm gonna let you guys decide how you want to handle it, but until then, I'm out of the repair shop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Claudia, I live on Smith Street. I have a couple of issues. I am German, so I'm asking for a couple more minutes. If not, my husband maybe can give me some. So there's a couple of issues. First of all, I have a citation here for the blight that I had in front of my house, which was called debris, some kind of debris, which was topsoil, which was to fill the holes all over my yard. In the meantime, we had 95-degree weather, rain. My husband fell, hurt his shoulder, had shoulder surgery, ruptured the other shoulder, and it was delayed. He was limited working on our beautiful light. So then I get this ticket saying that I either remove it right away. I had exactly 11 days, or jail, or $500. I have never been threatened with jail, never. I am always obedient. My records are as straight as can be. I have nothing. And and you said last meeting that my house was blighted. It was topsoil. And then I called Lori, and she said it was a tarp. I said to Lori, what kind of tarp would you like me to put on there? $100 pink bow tarp? We need to cover the dirt because the neighbors were really nice to us and said, thanks for covering the dirt, because with the weather we had, this would have been all over the neighborhood and into the windows, because obviously they have their windows open. Not everybody has their central air on. And somebody else told me that it was very nice because of the mud. It would have been a mud hole. So I was very disturbed with this. So I called my kids and I said, listen, can you please help? They have children and they have a life. My son is a Macomb deputy night shift, works very many hours, very much overtime. They all said, Mom, we don't want you to go to jail. We will get this done. Because my husband obviously has 11 vertebrae, he is a mess, and he can't do it. And I remember what you told my husband was very upsetting to me, because you said, well, we should call the church. Which church? The Woodside Bible School or Bible Community or whatever that is? Who would help? We are Catholic. I'm actually Russian Orthodox. There's no such thing around here. That was not nice. We have been nice. But because we open our mouth and we complain about something, I feel like, I'm from West Berlin, I feel like I'm in East Berlin. The police drives by, we have a meeting, 4 fire trucks there. What, if I say something, I'm gonna get, because my car is in front of the yard, I get a ticket 2 times. Well, my husband is handicapped, he had to come into the house. The disability person said, that's okay. Just don't do it all the time. We don't want our grass to be ruined, but would have been so hard for somebody, if this is a closed community, to knock on a door and say, hey, Claude, your house never looks this way. What happened? Do you need help? Or do you want me to give you some time? We need to get rid of the dirt. Is that so hard? Whatever happened with people being nice to each other? I know you're looking at your clock. I know. So that's one big thing. The roof was delivered, what? A half an hour later. Person comes to our house, wants us to get a permit. We go to the permit. The guy says, listen, I want to see the pictures because you're doing it on the weekend. We said, fine. I have the pictures on my phone. Nobody came to my house. The councilwoman told me that he was afraid for his safety. I like to be explained why. My house, nobody ever threatened anybody. My dog, and everybody that knows me walking, my dogs are the best raised dogs ever. They listen to the point. So what was he afraid of? What was it? I did not understand that. I told Lori all that. Why are we, I think we are getting targeted, damaged, and our name, I mean, my name is like in the mud. And I don't like it. I don't want to sell my house. My husband does. I busted my butt on my house. I don't want to sell. And I'm not selling just because I feel like you guys are trying to get us out. I don't want to even say anything because what is the sheriff going to come to my house? It's 5 minutes, I know. But you know what? I have somebody that can give me their 5 minutes. I'm just really upset, and I wanted to make appointments with you and Lori, and we were denied every single time. The lady at the front, I told her, please have her call me, please email me. We never got a phone call, never got a meeting. This would have been all in the office. Then we could have done all this in the office. Please don't say nothing.
Robert Cleveland, can I grant her my 5 minutes?
City manager, is that permissible?
She's bilingual, and when she gets a little upset, she thinks in German, and it's hard to get. She can speak in German to you all you want, you're not gonna understand.
You could, if you want to speak, you can go ahead and finish.
Me, I don't know what she wants to convey to you.
Well, I probably said everything. If the city manager would give me a meeting, that would be great. Like I said, I feel that I am targeted.
I would like to add that I went to see the city manager. I was accused of bullying her, which I wasn't.
And calling the police.
I was told that, I heard at the last meeting that I said, the Americans with Disabilities Act says I don't have to clean up my yard.
You never said that.
I never said that.
We would clean it up.
And the sheriff's department, and I know Sheriff King, I'm gonna be discussing this with him, have been weaponized against the people of this city. People should not fear their government should fear their people.
That's what I feel like.
Okay?
And if you have a German husband, ask him about the East
When the
Germans.
building inspector came to my house and said to me, 15 minutes after shingles were on my roof, now I'm on my 5 minutes, 15 minutes,
Could you state your name, please?
Robert Kleeman. And 15 minutes after the shingles were on my roof, and please pay attention to me, what I'm saying, because I don't expect anything to get done. The building inspector was there. Said, you need a permit, okay? And I said, no, I don't. I've got 3 grandchildren, and I swear on their lives, I'm not gonna tell you any falsehoods. I said, no, I don't. I spoke to the city manager about Mark Thompson putting a roof on his house, and she said he don't need a permit. I said, I'm going to, yes, you did. I'm gonna put a roof on my house, do I need one? She was there.
It was an existing roof. Same as the fence, it was existing, as long as we don't change it.
Replacing an existing roof. As long as
That
you're
was
just
before,
changing the
Laurie.
roof, no structure, you don't need a permit. So, I didn't get a permit. 15 minutes, the building inspector's there. I said, I don't need one. The city manager said, I don't need one. He said, you need one. I said, please leave my property.
No, we rented it out.
And then I said to the wife, I said, you know, we don't need to fight because we're targeted. We have been selected for selective enforcement by the sheriff's department. Like I said, you have weaponized the sheriff's department, and Matt King and I are gonna have a sit-down chat about this. I said, no, please leave my property. I got a roof to put on. I had my kids and everybody doing it. And he said, I'm gonna come back and shut you down. I said, I'll take you off my property then. Never threatened him. He said, I'll come back with the sheriff's department and you'll be arrested. I said, I'll march him off my property along with you. please, leave my family alone. Stop lying to the council. When you say
We're getting
something,
our
live by
permits,
it.
but don't say anything anymore, don't say
And
nothing.
don't call my house blighted.
No, that was, if you
That's
know
a- that's an
Germans, that's the
insult.
biggest insult you can do.
Can I ask you something? Did you not call my house blighted twice
Twice.
at the last meeting?
We are not
Come on,
communicating back and
Okay,
forth.
I know, you don't wanna answer, because you don't wanna hear the truth.
come on.
I know, I'm not gonna yell, but please, leave us alone. 'Cause don't poke the bear. The bear is tired. I'm disabled, and to have my city manager tells me, well, go to your church and get some help. Hire a contractor. I said, I'm on a fixed income. Well, oh, everyone in this town's on a fixed income. I said, I don't know about that, okay? So like she said, and as a result, and I want you people to listen to this, as a result of my wife, I knew she wasn't going to jail, but she had in her head, because we get letters from the code enforcement that says you're gonna go to jail or pay $500 unless you do this within so many days. Okay, as a result, I worked in my yard. Now I have to go to a specialist at U of M, because I'm right back to ground zero.
Come on.
And as far as the governmental immunity umbrella, you were put on notice, she signed for it, not on the day she claims that I was protected by the American Disabilities Act, so your governmental immunity clause went out the door.
Come on, Robert.
Your umbrella, it went out the door. You knew about the problem. And now I'm off to U of M to get my back checked by a specialist. U of M surgeons would not touch it, they referred me upstairs and said to the specialist. Because of these threatening letters. In 30 years of police work, I've never seen this kind of letter go out to
Robert.
people. We talked to people and said, could you please?
Even your wife's calling you.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen this type of enforcement with your code enforcement and utilizing the sheriff's department to threaten people. That's not right. And you're all gonna sit here and look at me and think, yeah, he's the one that Doug Alexander said was crazy and violent. I'm not crazy and violent. I raise my voice, but I get frustrated. But you know, tomorrow's gonna bring another day, and you're not going to do a thing. Not a thing.
Thank you.
And I'm asking that you please do, leave my family alone,
It's true though.
okay?
Okay, time's up.
Time's up. Next, would somebody else like to address council? All right, seeing no one, we'll go on with our meeting. At this time, is the city manager's report. Mrs. Gerstenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. Once again, I wanted to bring up about yard waste. Please continue to put your yard waste in paper leaf bags or 30-gallon trash containers. The leaf vacuum will be out November 8th through the 19th. If you missed that window, the last Ontario yard waste pickup will be November 26th, which is the day after Thanksgiving. I also like to mention that there's a reassessment of water bill late fees. On April 7th, the City Council approved a moratorium on the assessment of all costs and late fees associated with the non-payment of water bills. That terminated with the end of the Michigan state of emergency, so costs and late fees will resume on October 6th. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we're being asked to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the city council meeting minutes from our regular meeting, September 21st, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Support.
Discussion, comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we've approved our consent agenda. We have no unfinished business, so we'll get right into the new business. This is a nice one. It's to approve our 2021 Halloween trick-or-treat hours and road closure. Each year, the city council designates specific times for the Halloween trick-or-treat. These times are set by city council prior to October 31st, traditionally from 5 to 7. The Halloween festivals are at Smith Recreation Park this year. Will also include the annual Algonak Fire Department bonfire starting at 7 o'clock. Trunk or treat from 5 to 7 with cars lining up at 4:30. The Algonak Rotary Club will once again be supplying free hot dogs and water. For the second year in the row, for the safety of our participants, the city will be closing Clay and Smith from Washington to Michigan, and Michigan from Clay to Smith from 5 to 10 p.m. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve trick-or-treating hours between 5 and 7 p.m. and street closures, Clay and Smith from Washington to Michigan, and Michigan from Clay to Smith from 5 to 10 p.m. on Sunday, October 31st, 2021.
Support.
Do we need a roll call for that, Mrs. Gerstenberg?
I would say no.
Okay. Comments, questions, and concerns? I do like that we close the road. I think that really works out really well. Mr. Councilman Gillis, did you have something
No.
to say? Oh, I thought you were going to.
I was going to, but.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we have set our hours once again. Next, we're being asked to approve service renewal for the Riverfront Park solar lights. On February 6, 2018, City Council was awarded a contract for installation of 20 solar lights in Riverfront Park. In July 2018, the initial 3-year contract was activated, which included communication costs for the system, monitoring and management software, as well as a continuous support and service from Clear Blue Technologies. We have 2 options for the renewal. Option number 1 is illuminance management services and communications only at a cost of $2,901 for 3 years. Option number 2 is illuminance management services and communication plus energy as a services would cost $14,710.64 for 3 years. That would also include the components that need replacement, which could be the battery, solar panels, the controller, and shipping. Typically, routine maintenance includes battery maintenance or battery replacement, $1,050 every 6 years, and lamp replacements, $850 is what they cost every 12 years. It's suggested from our DPW foreman that we choose option number 1. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve renewal for waterfront solar power lights from Clear Blue Technologies in the amount of $2,901.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Mayor Stoneberg, I have a
Yes.
question, if I may. I may not have an answer, but I'm curious. The difference between option 1 and option 2 is absorbent, I noticed, which is odd. And the second option I noticed includes any component that would be necessary. But if we don't need any components that are necessary, that still seems like a quite large difference. So I want to make sure that we're getting everything that we need of option 1, that it's not going to encompass any large amounts of this nature. Or can option 2 be degraded down to if we didn't replace these, because it just seems like these 2 people aren't in the same ballpark.
Well, the option number 2 includes all those things, but if we don't need them,
Right.
we're still paying the full amount.
Yeah, so why would they price it that way, I guess is.
I don't know, but seeing that, it's only 3 years old right now,
Right.
and battery replacement is about every 6 years, it'd still be worth it to go with the option number 1 for 3
Absolutely, I
years.
don't disagree, it's just such a large
It
price
is.
variance that I was just shocked by that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
Can we get option 2 for the light above your head?
Yes. It is flickering, every once in a while I think somebody's turning the light on. Although I don't mind it,
And dim?
yeah, I like it dim. All right, any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, roll call please.
Councilman Blair?
Yes.
Councilman Gillis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Scarba?
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bendis?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we're being asked to approve the accounts payable and payroll. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $870,555.73.
Support.
Comments, questions, or concerns? again, the greater amount, I just want to make note, is taxes coming in that we have to pay, that come in and has to go into the county. Any other comments? All right, roll call please.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris. Yes. Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarbeck,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bevis,
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, Mrs. Gerstenberg, what is in, the items for our next agenda?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. We are, looking at possibly a, school feasibility study. I have an Algonak Acid Award for Snoopy's Bar celebrating 40 years, and a building department presentation by the city manager.
So where? What place?
Snoopy's. Snoopy's Bar.
Anybody familiar with that
Down the
place?
street.
Is that out?
You get out and about more.
Apparently.
All right, thank you. All right, council comments, Councilman Blair.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Congratulations, Mary. Well deserved, absolutely. Your presentation was fabulous. I guess I would like to address, we've had some blight issues within the last few meetings that people have, our citizens that came up and told us about. We did have a session where we did speak in regards to maybe making some changes, but blight was a big issue in Elvenar for many, many years, from what I understand. And I believe we're moving in the right direction in regards to correcting the blight issues. I would also like to think that we don't have officers rousting particular citizens because they are marked or anything of that nature. I don't believe that we live in a city that does that. So for clarification, I guess that we would have to bring this stuff to light so it's transparent. But everybody that has been around in the city and has been up at this council understands that because of the blight issues that we've been taking care of, that all of our home values are going up, and we, I believe, finally have the right direction, that we're taking care of blight the way it should be done. If some people seem that they're getting targeted or are having issues, we're trying to clear those up if they're legit. And I don't mean to say that they're not, but I believe there's probably some gray areas that we need to corral and lock in to help create a better atmosphere for our blight. We're not out to attack anybody. We're just trying to make a better city for all of us to live in, whether you live here or you're right here. So we're here to work for you guys, for the citizens of the city, and that's what we're gonna do. Moving on from that, I'm not gonna steal any of Mr. Bemis's thunder because this is Mike's year, or Mike's month. He loves the October month. I'm gonna let him go with it because he's got a bunch of knights with swords in front of his house.
Yes.
I don't want them attacking me in the middle of the night. So, again, thanks for coming out, everybody, and we're here for the citizens, and we're here for the city as well. Thank you so much.
Councilman Gillis.
I want to add on to the communications with the citizens. All of our email addresses are on the city website. If anybody has a concern with the city, please reach out to your council. Please email all of us. All of us, I'm sure, are willing to meet with you and discuss issues with you one-on-one. If there's an issue, please reach out to us. Again, we're very easy to get a hold of. Phone calls, email, Facebook Messenger, please reach out. But now I must move on to the praising of my wife. Mary, when I met you, I think you lived in the big city. And I think I remember a statement saying, I could never live in this small town. And then when she lived there, I said, well, you live in an apartment, I own a house, so I think I win. And then within a few short years, she's said, I'm gonna quit my job and teach here too. And I'm so glad that we've been able to help be together, and I'm able to support you, and you've been able to support me. And when she talks about these core boards, you guys saw a 5-minute presentation. That 5-minute presentation is my life pretty much every single day. She's very passionate about her students and scoreboards and everything, and I'm so proud to be your husband.
Thank you.
Wow, that's a tough one to beat there. Yeah, dittos to congratulations, Mary. Well deserved, well earned. Thank you Thank you, Mr. Blair, for pointing out it is October.
It's Councilman Blair.
Thank you. You know, the nice thing about Halloween in the NAC, October 16th, is it's going to be about twice the size as last year. We're also adding a craft show for people to buy and sell crafts and everything. And almost every small business and church is involved this year. A lot of citizens, individual citizens, are involved. People sitting up here are involved. If you see Facebook, it's like, oh my goodness, I gotta catch up and advertise this because I'm running out of days. That many people are involved, and I keep getting more people every day calling up. And we've updated that, yeah, I got one more for you maybe. And I just wanna say thank you to all the people involved who are running a game or craft. Corey's daughter is gonna be there, running teaching the kids how to do craft. Appreciate that. Mary is doing karaoke. This guy here is always involved in everything, and you're bringing your grandkids.
I'm a grandma that day.
Jacob donated the stage. I know Kathy's helping out with tickets and stuff, and I'm sure Ray will be there too, right, Ray?
Training out of the house.
And we can't forget Denise. Denise will be there with her, what do you call that, camper? Yeah, so, just looking at the audience, we've got the Greens who are running the game. Did you guys know that you were volunteered to run the game? And Amy's business, and Kim Blair, and the Domes, and, you know, Michelle and Ed are taking pictures for free and showing everybody, so, my goodness, what a way for community to come together. And don't forget, at 6 p.m., we're having the home tour this year. You see the outside with all the skeletons and swords and everything. The inside is just as decorated, the whole house. All the money we receive from that goes to the food pantry. 2 years ago, we had over 100 people. I'd like to see 100 this time. Two caveats: we will be taking temperature at the door. It is COVID. I hope people understand. And for the tour, we'll ask you to wear a mask again. There is COVID. A lot of strangers getting together in a tight group. We're going to ask you to wear a mask. We love masks, so there you have it. We will have refreshments individually packed for everybody, because you have to toast the king and queen.
Put a 6-pack in bag, or?
Yeah, I was thinking them, you know, the Capri Suns where you put the straw.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe the small wine boxes. So hope to see everybody there. It's going to be a blast. And thank you everybody for all your support, making it a success. And I can't wait to do it.
Councilman Martin.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mary for her efforts on behalf of the students and whoever else can make use of those boards. And Jennifer Humes was here, but I see she's gone. And Karen Schmidt too, for the efforts. I don't know if Karen was here at all, but thank you to those people for what you're doing.
Councilwoman Harris.
Thank everybody for coming, and congratulations, Mary, on your Teacher of the Year, and very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Councilman Scarlett.
I just want to apologize for having allergies tonight, so I sound bad, but we are having a derby November 5th and 6th. It's going to be a car derby out at Smith Park. We're going to be having a beer tent, vendors, food trucks, and we will be having 50-50s, and there's going to be prizes out there, and we're going to be charging $10, pre-sale, $15 at the door. All the money from the tickets and all the sponsorship money will be going towards scholarships. It should be a fun time. We have great entertainment coming out for the event, and I'd like to see all of you guys there if possible. And another thing is, I want to thank Mary for everything she does for this community, and seriously, come talk to me after, because we would love to give you the 50-50s.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Thanks, and have a good night.
Now, are you limited on tickets for the derby?
We're doing 2,000 tickets, so we're going to be bringing in 1,000 bleacher trailers, or 4 bleacher trailers that fit 1,000 people. Then we have 160 seats coming from the school with the beer tent and everyone standing. I think 2,000 is probably gonna be our max. I mean, if it doesn't look packed, we'll allow more people in, but we're trying to keep it at that. And we will have security at the gate, so that'll be a plus.
This Friday, we have our Pierogi Fest at the VFW Hall. We have 12 tickets left.
There might be a little more.
A little more than that, so if you don't have your ticket yet, we don't plan on selling them at the door. So you wanna get it ahead of time, Mills Enterprises and at City Hall, we have tickets, so, come on for that. And Mary, thank you. You go over and above, and I know you're living with a teacher, and I know somebody else who did that, and it's kinda hard at times. But, it's a passion, and she's living it, you gotta go ride along with her, yeah, okay. The blight that we were talking about, if you have an issue about a letter that you've written, please contact our city manager. She's the first person you wanna talk to. She will explain to you what is going on, and we're reasonable. If you have extenuating circumstances, let her know. I don't think anyone here is unreasonable, but usually the first time you hear about it is either on Facebook or at a podium, and there's ways you can get information before that. But the other thing that is making it seem like we have more blight going on now than we did before is, for the last 18 months, everything's kind of been on hold with the pandemic, and we weren't able to follow through on some things, so it may seem like we have a lot going on, but they were just things that have started 18 months ago, and it's finally getting through the funnel there, trying to get a resolution to issues like that. And yes, there are some people in our community that they don't like blight, and they do call about it. And we need to go out and we need to check on it. So I'm glad we have somebody that is responsible for that. Before, we haven't had somebody that was their responsibility, and it came back on. It is a thankless job, but the city's not unreasonable. Talk to our city manager if you have an issue with it. And I do want to thank my colleagues, Algonak Alive members and the people up here, because this is the one day on October 16th that I get to be a grandma, and I get to play there, and I get to be in the parade, and I don't do a thing but have fun with my grandsons, so I really, really appreciate it. And with that,
Well, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
all right.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.